Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is a breaking news podcast with the news of Rangers team. Phillipe Clement has named his first team ahead of the game against Hibernian at Ibrox this afternoon. Wow. It's an interesting team. Scott Hammond in the live chat. Hello, Scott. Good afternoon. Stuart says that team doesn't fill. That team doesn't fill me with excitement. Dean Henderson says, what happened to Dujon? I don't know. Perhaps he's injured, maybe. I don't know. It is an interesting team selection, to say the least, by Phillipe Clement. Very interesting team selection. Let's bring the team up and have a look at this team. Here it is. So the team to face Hibernian this afternoon is the following. It is Jack Butland in goal. I think that's a surprise. A back four that is pretty much the same back four that started most of the season, with James Tavernier at right back. Look, there was never any chance that he was going to be dropped, never any chance that he was going to be stripped of the captaincy, not at this stage. I don't think he will be captain. Look, confident prediction for you this year. I'm going to predict this now. James Tavernier will not be Rangers captain this time next season. Pretty much a guarantee, that one. Connor Goldson and Borna Barisic. Man, why Borna Barisic? I don't get it. Do not understand that at all. Ridvan is fit. Play Ridvan. Ridvan is a better player than Borna Barisic. So I would definitely be looking at Ridvan starting there. What else have we got? So Stuart says he's raging. Dessers and Lammers start their mints. Primetime says, oh my God. Only fun. No, Home says, am I doing a live stream? Yes, I am doing a live stream, guys. Come and join me for that. 2:50 we kick off our live stream for 3 o'clock kickoff. Hope he has a cunning plan, says James Brady. Me too, buddy. Me too. I don't know quite how he's going to line up. Looking at that, it could be a 4-4-2. Looking at that lineup with Wright and Seamer wide, maybe Raskin and Lundstrom in the middle, and maybe Lammers and Dessers up front, which just fills me with dread, if I'm being honest with you. Lundstrom starts and Raskin starts. Interesting that Jack is not picked, and it's John Lundstrom who starts. John, my second touch is a tackle Lundstrom. Nicholas Raskin, who has still got, hasn't had the best of seasons this season, has still got an awful lot to prove, and especially after those comments that he made regarding seeing Rangers as a stepping stone. He does have a lot of work to do with that one. Then you've got Abdallah Seamer, who has, of all the signings, and obviously I know, look, we all know that by far Jack Butland has been the best signing. He didn't even cost any money. And Abdallah Seamer, who again is a lone player, has probably been the second best signing from this summer. Seamer is our top scorer, so good to see him in the lineup. Scott Wright, I genuinely don't get Scott Wright. Unless he's going to be used as an out-and-out wide man, unless he's going to use him wide right, I genuinely don't understand Scott Wright's inclusion in the team. If you're going to use him as a winger, fair enough. If you're going to use him out wide right, fair enough. He's not great, but look, if Clement wants to use wingers, which I think he does, we haven't got any wingers. Matondo's injured. Lawrence is injured. Lawrence is not really a winger, is he? So, there we go. And then the name, look, I was just flicking through Instagram, and then the notification came up, and I pulled the team up, and I read through the team, and I got to that last name, number 9, Cyril Dessers to start. My heart sank, my stomach sank. I genuinely went from feeling very buzzing and positive to feeling, oh, for God's sake, why, God, why? Why start him? He is the most absolute fucking shittest player that has ever played for this club, and we're still starting him. I don't get it. Genuinely don't get it. I had an interesting conversation with Scott Young of Rangers Assessment this morning on Twitter. He rates Cyril Dessers for some weird reason. I don't see it. I've seen better pub players than Cyril Dessers, genuinely have. So if I could look at your comments. Wright, Lammers, Dessers, Bourne, a few names that there will ruffle a few feathers, need a performance and immediate changes where, if not working, Scott, you are 1,000,000% correct. Glasgow Rangers Nation, hopefully Rangers can win, certainly. Funny for home nations. If the manager wins with this team, he's the man for us right enough. Yeah, if Rangers loyalist, if he can win with this team, he is Harry Potter. And he has got a magic stick, or a magic wand, as it's alternatively known. Looking at the team, I expect the same slow football we've been watching all season, says Stuart. I think you could be very much right. Not confident at all, says Dean Henderson. A few people saying hello to each other in the live chat. Substitutes for today's game is, we look at it, let's have a look. Robbie McCrory obviously is the substitute goalkeeper, which I don't think, that's not a surprise, is it? Robbie McCrory is a very fine goalkeeper, and I think a lot of people would, actually have him as their starter in a lot of teams. Subs, Ridvan Yilmaz for me, who should start over Borna, negative. I'm in reverse, Barisic. Jack Cantwell on the bench. Who, to be fair, Phillipe Clement did say that Todd Cantwell is not ready for 90 minutes. Roof, again, someone who is not ready for 90 minutes either. Ben Davis, Leon Balogun, Ross McCausland, and Danilo. Personally, I would have started Danilo, and then, if you need to make the change, make the change. Absolutely. I think... I've just got a tweet from Scott Young, said he's put a bet on Stevie Dessus to score a hat-trick. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So JB McKean says 3-1 to Rangers. Dean Henderson jokes Clement out. C-Max says, don't think he could have picked a worse team, but hopefully we win easily. Agreed. Stuart says, this is Dessus and Lamber's last chance of me. Do nothing today, and they better get to... Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Stuart, 100%. Absolutely agree with you 100% on that one. I genuinely look at this team, and it is genuinely an awful team. If I'm being wholly honest with you, look, everyone starts with a clean slate. I get that. Phillipe Clement starts the clean slate today. I admire your optimism, Rangers loyalist. I'm going to change my prediction. My prediction was 3-0 Rangers. I'm now going a scrappy 1-0 to Rangers today. I think, looking at that, the bench as well, at least, look, we've got options on the bench, strong options on the bench. Ridvan, Jack, Cantwell, Roof, Davis. He's not great, but Ridvan and Jack, Cantwell and Roof, McCausland and Danilo all provide us good options from the bench. There's some interesting absentees from that. The most interesting absentee is, of course, Dujon Sterling. You've got to kind of question, what has Dujon Sterling done wrong? Or is he in fact injured? I don't know. Maybe he might be injured. So 3-2 to the famous, says Alan Morrison. John Robertson says that's a terrible team. I agree with you, buddy. I expected an awful lot better of his first team. I really did hope that it was going to be a very strong team. But that is a genuinely bad team. You've got to kind of question what he has seen this week in training that kind of reassures him that these are the guys to go out there and do it. I think there'll be a lot of interest on what you think, what the formation could be today. That's a key question. How is he going to line up today? How is he going to shape that today? What is he going to do? I don't know. It's interesting. It looks like it could be a 4-4-2. You theoretically could play a 4. Even Adam Thornton is tweeted out what in buzzkill that is. It's a real sort of I don't know, what's what I'm looking for? Bubble burster, shall we say? Bubble burster. We've got looking at the team. I don't see where the creativity seem more in my son's nursery, says Stuart. Dessus couldn't score in a brothel with a handful of cash, says Ewan Minton. As well as, at least the big fella's got a sense of humour. What a team. Sorry for the fruity language, but what a shite lineup, says CGM 55. I agree, CGM. 4-1, says Kenneth Elliott. Tavernier 2, Seema 2. I'd take that, Kenneth. Thought that the kids might get a chance. James, I'm fair to say, I thought he would as well. Bailey Rice is not even on the bench. What has Bailey Rice done wrong? So I agree with that 100%. Maybe he's seen something in them in the Beale system that didn't let them show him. Hopefully, Dean. Really hope so, buddy. Really hope so. JB McKean says 4-2-2-2. That's what he's going with. Not a usual Clement formation, though. If I was one of the young lads, I'd want away. Watching that shite every game is depressing. Agreed. You've got to look at that in terms of, how does that team line up? Question here from Stuart says here, Says, and why play Borna over Yilmaz? Pass Borna does my head in. Absolutely. I mean, the Hajduk split manager said it, for me. He really did. He said he runs backwards. He's too negative. He's just not a good player. Not a good player at all. What I would like to see today is that if you have a situation where Borna is doing his usual, that Clement hauls him off and lets him know that it's not acceptable. It will be 4-2-1-3. Lammers behind Dessers with Seema left, right. God help us on the right. Yeah. C-Max says probably 4 or 5 there. I wouldn't have picked Lundstrom, Lammers, Barisic, Wright and Dessers, but let's get behind them. I mean, C-Max, that's all we can do at the end of the day is get behind this team because, look, we are Rangers fans after all. We do love this club. And, we might think that this team is just absolutely shite. Of course, we do think this team is absolutely shite. But, look, at the end of the day, it's what we've got at the moment. And perhaps he doesn't want to risk Cantwell. He doesn't want to risk... he doesn't want to risk Danilo yet properly. Perhaps he wants to save them for Thursday night for Europe. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but it is a team that for me is not a great team. I'm stunned by that lineup. I have lost excitement I was feeling. Says, had we had I think we all have, mate. I think we all have. Clement's a good technician. He's going to bloody need to be Jamie McKean with this team. He really is. B team are playing Icelandic champions RTC on Sunday. Rice, King, McKinnon, Devine, Fraser, Yefeko, and Lau playing in that game. But the thing is, Alice, that shouldn't the A team, the first team, override anything we need from the thing? So I don't know. What does everyone expect? A brand new team. It's the same squads. Andrew Smith. Yeah, I think Andrew, the situation is I think a lot of people wanted to see Cantwell from the start, Danilo from the start, perhaps McCausland given a start, a bit more. Say Bailey Rice given a start over John Lundstrom. John Lundstrom, the guy's second touch is always a tackle. So I don't get it, mate. I don't get it. You can't hear me, Blue Nose John. I don't know why. Can everyone else hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. My audio seems to be working, so I'm not quite sure why you can't hear me, buddy. It's hard to get motivated for games and the players aren't even motivated. Let's hope they are motivated today, Stuart. Let's hope they really are motivated. Regardless of the ability after the Aberdeen game, Scott Wright should never play for us again. His attitude was a disgrace. CGM55, you're right. Good, thank you, Blue Nose. And but let's just quick for those of you who've just joined. Let's quickly recap what is on paper a pretty awful team. Butland in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Barisic make up the back four. Borna back past Barisic at left back. Lundstrom, Raskin, Lammers, Seema, Scott Wright, and Cyril Dessers. The last 2 names on that team sheet fill me with utter dread reading them. And you know what? I genuinely had this. Look, I was buzzing this morning when I got up for the game. I got my shirt sorted out, got ready to go, really up for this game, up for doing the live stream. That team comes up. I read those 2 last names, and it literally is like a sinking feeling in your stomach. I actually feel physically sick now because Cyril Dessers is starting. I don't know. I'm not really ridiculous, but I genuinely feel physically sick. Absolutely physically sick that man is anywhere near this team. Substitutes, just to recap: McCrory, Ridvan, Jack, Cantwell. Why isn't Rice not there? I don't get that myself. Roof is on the bench, as is Devine, as is Balogun, as is McCausland, as is Danilo as well. I would like to have seen Danilo from the start. It's an interesting team. It certainly is a very, very interesting team. Really is a very interesting team. Look, at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, look, let's just get behind them. Hope we can do this. Hope we can put this together. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Let's get to the comments. Doesn't matter what manager you have if the players' heart isn't in it anymore. You won't get the best out of them, says Stuart. True. PC's managed Dessers. No, he hasn't, Voxy. He's never managed Cyril Dessers. Dessers was at Genk when Clement was at Bruges. It's one of the misconceptions of social media that's been swimming around. He's never, ever played for Phillipe Clement before. I have a feeling that Dessers will score 2 goals today and they won't be own goals, says Blue Nose John. John, I've heard hell's getting cold. I've heard hell's freezing over. Genuinely have. Heard hell is now freezing over. If that's the case. I don't know. I'm genuinely lost for words. You know, at the end of the day, we've got to just get behind them and hope something changes today. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Reckon 4-4-2, right seamer on the wings, Lammers and Donkey Dessers up front. Yeah, agree with you. It could well be a 4-4-2. All the negativity. Come on, Rangers. Yes, William, we are. You know, look, at the end of the day, we are. I am trying to get behind them, and I will get behind them, but it doesn't stop you having an opinion on the players, does it? You know, an opinion on what you think, an opinion on the team selection. We all have opinions. Dessers wasn't that good when he played for Genk. Wasn't until he went to Feyenoord. He wasn't that great at Feyenoord, if I'm being honest with you. Sorry, my bad. I thought, yeah, Voxy, no problems, mate. It's a common misconception that's been going round at this moment in time as regards Cyril Dessers playing for him at Genk. Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick recap on the team, guys. Here is the team for you in full. Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Barisic, Lundstrom, Raskin, Lammers, Seamer, Wright, and Donkey Dessers. Subs, McCrory, Ridvan, Jack, Cantwell, Roof. Who's that other one? I can't read. My eyesight's awful. Devine, Balogun, McCausland, and Danilo. That is your team for this afternoon. Right, guys. I want to cut this short because I need to go pick my daughter up as well. Please come and join me for the live stream at 2:50. It'd be great to have as many of you on board as possible. As always, guys, if you can smash the like on the way out, that would be absolutely fabulous. And always remember, for me, we are the people.